All right, next video up is from the 5-Star. I'm going to go ahead and link his channel right away since he's a bit newer on the creator side. Well, this is the video that we're watching. And he stops by the stream all the time. Really good, really good dude. And this video, I think, is his best yet. He's been doing these Shadow Patch Notes videos for a while now. I did pre-watch this one a little bit, but it's less of a Shadow Patch Notes and it's more of like what is in 321.1, including Shadow Patch Notes, and I think it was a really good job. This is something I've always wanted to do for my channel and will probably do myself at some point. I've been mentioning about doing them for years. I just never do them, and he does them, so they're awesome. So here you go. Oh, hold on. I think it's muted because I lowered the last video, so hold up. Bring up the volume there.
Hello and welcome
to
Shadow Patch Notes, the series where we take the latest patch and discuss all the hidden tweaks and changes that didn't quite make the spotlight. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and stick around until the end of the video to see how you can win a Cutter Scout with LTI. Alright, let's jump right in. We'll start with the biggest lesson that this PTU cycle has taught us. Crash to desktop recovery seems to be working very well. Better than ever.
Still has.
Actually. During the insane amount of CTDs I experienced, we pretty much always loaded back in right where we disconnected at.
Because it's one thing for it to work in the PTU, it's a whole nother thing for it to work on live, and it works on live. So
really awesome stuff. This is extra nice when you consider that players can no longer server swap when they combat log or crash to desktop.
Yep.
That's right. Alt F4 enjoyers, your time is up. Mission items like tablets are now highlighted in the inventory. This can be seen during missions like the new data heist ones. These data heist missions are looking very profitable, but also quite difficult. You can find them in the personal tab on your Mobi. They come in tiers, starting with the entry-level mission, which pays 30k and acts as the tutorial. The max level data grab has a payout of 500 grand, but you're going to need a group for these, as you have to be in multiple places at once to keep the operation running.
It's crazy.
Be sure to knock out the comm array before starting, unless you want to deal with a CS5. A new crypto key was added to the verse, the Funt crypto key.
I'll read the thing. This powerful crypto key is considered one of the highest caliber hacking tools available. Long rumored to have been originally designed for advocacy use, these difficult to acquire devices have only recently been making its way to the hands of criminals. Most who have used them say they are worth the effort to acquire. With the crypto key's official advocacy designation unknown, the name Funt is the shortening of the devices. And yeah, we can't see anything else, but very interesting.
This seems to be fast.
Re-added? I don't think there was ever a Funt, and this visual was never a thing, was it?
And more efficient than the base Tiger Claw. The Talon received a pretty brutal nerf. Similar to what happened with the Cartual recently. Before. A huge decrease to total Gs leads to quite the performance hit here. Okay, now on to the big ticket item of the patch, ship tractor beams. This update opened up a world of gameplay opportunities.
Look at that,
as you can imagine,
so much better.
Cases galore. For example, if a player is wearing a backpack, you can actually lock onto it. Ships that have their shields and engines disabled can be grabbed with a tractor beam and moved around at will. This ability will vary based on the size of your beam. If you dig deep enough into the refinery terminal, you will see that replacement tractor beam attachments are available for purchase. The tractor beams can be split into 3 groups: cargo beams, salvage beams, and tow beams. The tractor beam types are not interchangeable, and a ship needs to have tractor beam functionality for it to work.
What's the difference between these?
Meaning that you cannot just place a tractor beam on the turret of any ship. You also cannot replace the cargo tractor beam of a C1 to be a tow beam. The only clear benefit of upgrading at the moment appears to be the Vice Lock beam, which currently offers a slightly shorter range for a slightly larger angle. The tractor beam UI is really nice and tells you the name of what you're tractoring, the weight, and gives you a tension indicator in case you whip it too fast. Hold left Alt plus scroll wheel to adjust your distance, and press Q to turn off V-Joy for a little better control. Now you're ready to haul with the best of them. The new Crusader C1 is in and looking sleek. It was the first functional version of the tractor beams we got in our hands. The turret retracts just like on the A1, and you get a clear view of the entire bay. The C1 can even pull out its own components. Theoretically, a co-pilot could pull the ship out of QT mid-jump for some quality trolling.
Jesus Christ.
This ship is marketed as a Cutlass competitor, much like the upcoming RSI Zeus mentioned at CitizenCon. Here's a little size comparison between the C1 and the Cutlass for scale.
Yeah, I mean...
C1 has similar stats to the Cutlass.
The C1's gonna get clapped in combat because it's so fat.
Yet there are enough pros and cons to each to make it a considerable
Cutlass already
decision
does.
to make. Which would you prefer? CIG also managed to retroactively fit all legacy ships with their tractor beams as well, including the tried and true Cutlass Black. The beam on the Cutlass is accessed via the co-pilot seat, on the left side of the center MFD. This is probably the worst implementation of the beam at the time of this recording, as the view is entirely obstructed, rendering the tool useless for the time being.
I love how he says at the time of this recording, but he means like it'll get improved at some point. I you know, of course, in my stupid brain was like, there can be worse. They'll do it worse somewhere else. CIG is going to have to either redesign the back of the ship here, or simply have the tractor beam extend downward upon entering it. Keeping on brand for a moment, we also saw updates to the Drake Caterpillar. The Cat beam seems fairly powerful, and we were able to move around decent-sized ships like the Vulture with ease. The ship also received an extra beam located under the command module. This was actually a significant placement decision, as the command module is intended to detach from the rest of the ship and fly around independently, once modularity comes online. True.
Using this module would make loading cargo a
So that would make loading cargo so really important. So what's the point of this one?
very fun experience, and would operate similarly to the 315P experience of loading other ships. Speaking of which, the 315P looks like it doesn't have a remote turret at all. As a result, it is unable to load its own cargo. For this reason, it's more of a tool for relocating ships and moving debris around. You can press M to activate the beam, and G to gimbal it. Miners rejoice! You can now move broken pieces of mineable asteroids with ship tractor beams. Although fresh asteroids can...
I just want to see... You can't really say miners rejoice because you need another ship to do it. I would love to see a tractor beam on mining ships to be able to kind of fling the crap out of the way, maybe. I think that would be really good.
Until you crack them. Both of the handheld tractor beams...
Especially because we're going to be, you know, moving bags between mining ships and refinery ships, right? I always wanted there to be a button that removes the bags and they fall out away from the ship. You strafe up, strafe back, tractor beam in front, put them onto the salvage or the refinery ship. I would love that.
Work for this as well. Now you can move all the junk out the way of your juicy ore.
I think they
You can
intend
even
to
move
cooperate.
broken rocks planet side too.
Yo! Let's fucking go! That's me. I'm in the way.
It appears you cannot put these rocks inside of ships, however. But this may likely change in the future. The Nomad remote turret is one of the cleaner ones in the game. It's located on the left-hand side of the console under the open exterior button. Once inside, you'll be pleasantly surprised to see the great positioning of the beam, with very efficient loading and unloading clearance. The Constellation Taurus tractor beam is in, and it looks great. Although it's a little late to the party, it has the best positioning for self-loading and unloading of all the ships in my opinion. Here's hoping for that Connie rework sometime soon.
True.
Any day now.
Not happening.
Salvage got some really nice improvements as well. The Vulture received a tasty update to its UI, as well as all new options for laser heads. You can now switch between two different...
Can you tractor these things away?
...different sets of beams. By default, it's 2 cinches on top, which I recommend changing to a braids. And for the second set, you have an abrade accompanied by a tractor beam head on the left. This is perfect for rotating the ship with one hand while you scrape with your other. It's also going to be very handy for the structural salvage, which is now slated for release by the end of this year. These tractor beam heads are found on the Reclaimer as well. As a side note, the salvage filler station cargo improvements from the Pyro build are not in 3.21.1, but will most likely be coming out in a near future patch. Just to give a little more info on these beams, you can press Alt 2 or 3, depending on what side your tractor is on, to use that arm. In the case of the default loadout, pressing Alt 2 will let you control just the tractor beam. Then you can press Alt 3, and it will switch from the abrade to the cinch.
This is such a good implementation, too.
And back again. When you're ready, you can press Alt-1 to switch back to having both arms on at the same time.
And the key binding is perfect because it's so similar to mining. So it's just utilizing things that you're already used to.
Finally, there was an error in the last video when mentioning the salvage cargo nerfs being in effect. However, it seems like the change has come in this time around.
Sort
of. As always, keep your eyes...
So somebody in my Discord keeps saying that they're doing high-end bounty missions, and they made like 5 mil off one of them. And they're making a lot of money still. So I don't know if it's completely gone, but yeah.
Peeled, as this is subject to change. Rounding out our ship info, we have the star of 3.21.1. The Argo SRV.
I haven't seen it, though.
This baby is supporting the most powerful tractor beam in the game, allowing it to pull ships through quantum travel. In fact, the SRV seems to be able to tow just about everything, except for the reclaimer for some reason.
Damn.
You can simply press the fire button to instantly use the tractor beam on the SRV. Multiple SRVs are able to tow one vehicle, although it isn't really practical.
I think it causes a lot of desync,
Argo
too.
SRV also has 10 SU of cargo underneath it. Onto the FPS side of things.
He just skips over the 10 SU underneath it. I think that's one of the coolest things about the SRV when I checked it out, was the idea around the SRV is, you know, it's a tugboat. It's a kind of recovery ship when a ship goes down. Oh, my components died. We're thinking like, you know, resource management in the future, and putting a bunch of extra like shields or quantum drives or power plants in that section is going to be so useful.
We have the new Max Lift Tractor Beam Rifle. This new piece of equipment looks amazing the moment you hold it in your hands.
It's so cool.
It's very powerful,
so good.
and it costs 19k to buy at refinery decks. The size of crates that can be lifted by the multi-tool appears to be based on actual weight of the box, and not standardized by SCU container size. For example, here we can lift a 32 SCU container of scrap, whereas some other commodities are too heavy to lift at 32 SCU. The Max Lift Tractor Beam Rifle, however, does seem to be able to move every 32 SCU container that you try.
Yeah.
The Tractor Beam Rifle can throw small ground vehicles around, but it cannot move big ones like the Ballista.
It just bothered me about the mole
small
bags.
ships with it like the Arrow.
Doesn't work.
And drag bigger ones around like the Prospector. These new tractor beam changes allow for multiple tractor beams to affect a single item and allow multiple players to manipulate the same object. This means that multiple beams on a single object will yield more power, and together, you can lift things you otherwise wouldn't have been able to. Lift up, lift up. Oh shit, it works! It works!
Oh, they combined and were able to lift.
Oh shit, that is sick, bro!
I didn't see this yet.
You can also transfer items between each other without letting go. Lots of great changes for the tractor beams. The Siege of Orison event will be returning with some great new improvements.
I do not I will say this right now. Wait, that was an ICQ thing? No, it kind of sounded like the ICQ message thing, but I don't think it was. I do not recommend that you cross beams when moving cargo. We had tons of issues around it. It'll get stuck saying supporting, and there were tons of desync problems. Boxes were over here on one person's screen and over there on another's. When we started doing that, that is still a video, Star Citizen game problem. Tractor beams are great, but it brings to the surface that problem still existing. I still highly suggest, if you're moving anything from one ship out of a ship and into another, that you do it all in one swoop by yourself, because any other time that we did it any other way, all sorts of issues arose. So it's there, you can do it, but I don't suggest you do it right now.
On top of the Squadron 42 AI improvements, like AI looting their teammates, they also added official support for PvPers in Siege, adding mission dialogue for Xenothreat sympathizers, and a mission marker over those players' heads. Should make for an interesting dynamic this time around. I even gave it a shot for your viewing pleasure. I want to test the new sympathizer thing, okay?
Holy shit!
Long live Xenothreat, bitch! You can now purchase SCU containers at refinery decks as well. These boxes are open storage and will likely be used for the cargo container update slated for 3.22. For now, you are unable to pull these out and physically place them onto your ship.
Sag.
Now, you probably know that a few patches ago, They made a change to where you can only grab your free sperm suit from inside the medical area if you respawn. But did you know that this does the same thing for your gear if you die in Armistice? I randomly checked and found a few kits in here myself. Sometimes repairing the Cutter Scout may give you the base Cutter engine as a replacement. Kinda funny.
Oh, that's goofy.
Ship Trespass, aka the Stand Your Ground law, is now active in Star Citizen. Those players entering a vehicle they are not allowed to will see a warning, notifying them that they are trespassing on another player's private property. Whenever a player sees this warning, they should know that they can be legally attacked and killed should they remain. When trespassers are killed, they do not receive a crime and are not sent to prison by default. Unless, of course, they are already a criminal.
So you get a warning.
The ship owner will not receive any penalty for killing a trespasser either.
You get a warning and then it shortened itself, so it's not covering all your screen. I never noticed that before either, and that's a good.
This also accounts for you as the ship owner following the intruder back to their ship, where you'll be able to hunt them without fear of getting a crime stat yourself.
The edge cases for ships inside of ships was also covered here, so they did a pretty good job on this one. Vehicle headlights received the standardizing refractor across the board. They are now separated into sizes and provide better lighting accordingly. This is a nice step up from the randomness we had before. This patch introduces radar ground sensitivity changes, so different radars can see ground vehicles from different ranges. This includes a full balance pass on ground vehicle emissions, and also adds the ability for ground vehicles using missile operator mode to target lock other ground vehicles. The Trumbull Nova tank also received some improvements to its movement. I imagine a lot of these changes have come in the wake of the Tank Royale game mode.
Of course.
The new player tutorial has moved.
It's Arena Commander showing what it could do to balance the game a little bit quicker, hopefully.
And is now on New Babbage. It has some nice updates too, such as visual prompts in the UI, and they finally added instructions to put on your helmet. The city also received a bunch of sweet updates to the city signage, including IAE banners and some graffiti that reads, "Don't buy alien." Likely a reference to the leaked Gatak ship that is rumored to be straight to flyable this year. Oh, and New Babbage residents will be pleased to know that they finally fixed the most egregious bug in the city.
Oh shit!
Sweet relief.
No way! Okay, cool.
It seems all the major cities have finally discovered anti-glare glass coating is a thing. No more bright reflections in your face at the ASOP terminal.
One of the best changes, actually.
The CitizenCon demo for Squadron 42 revealed multiple new variants for the enormous Bengal carrier. No word on whether or not these will find their way into the PU one day, but it was interesting to see the different forms of this beast. In one image, you can see that the Bengal on the right has...
What does this have to do with 321.1?
2 cannons on top that the normal Bengal doesn't have due to the landing ramp. We also got a look at a new Xi'an cargo ship, and also these little spider things from Concept a long time ago. The Tumbril Storm is in the game. It can easily fit into the Corsair, and you can even squeeze it into the Constellation Phoenix. So 3.22 is just around the corner, slated for the end of the year. The main feature on everyone's radar is the implementation of structural salvage into the game. With this, we'll be harvesting ships for refinable resources, something integral for future systems like repair, crafting, and base building. Plus, this will help us get a little bit of that persistence back by cleaning up shipwrecks ourselves. New hair is set to come in finally, and new ships scheduled include the Santoke I and the Origin X1. Although it was touted as the key feature of 3.21.1, the replication layer testing has yet to be seen. This will likely be done in the preview server first, and I would...
Jake touched on it in the roadmap update. So make sure you guys check that out. It was the one on Spectrum, and it was in the replies, unfortunately. Somebody asked about it, and they said, yeah, just keep an eye out. So it should be coming soon.
I wouldn't be surprised if they get this out to us in a 3.21.2 patch. And as you all know, the preview channel has been out for a while now, and Pyro is absolutely amazing. I didn't want to cover any of that in this video, but I may do a separate one once it's all said and done.
You should.
And that'll do it for this episode of Shadow Patch Notes.
Nice.
So were any of these changes news to you? Which tractor beam ship is your favorite? And have you had
the hacking chip? I had no idea, and I think you only find it in loot, which is cool. You know, similar to the weapons. Some of the tractor beam stuff, I think. I'm trying to think of what else I didn't know, because I obviously know quite a bit because I'm following it, but there were so many things. Now I don't know.
chance to play Pyro?
I'm gonna look.
Leave a comment below and let me know. And if you're interested in winning that Cutter Scout with LTI,
The talent nerf,
hop on
I
over
didn't
to
know.
my Twitch channel ASAP, because we're drawing the winner live during IAE. You can find me at twitch.tv/The5Star. Come on by and say hi. Alright everybody, I'll catch you on the flip flop.
The sign. So, yeah, a few things, but that was it. Thank you, 5-Star. That was pretty cool. It was fun. I think that there's so many things that go into patches that people don't know about, and videos like that are really, really helpful, I think, for people, because you just don't know. But yeah. So thank you, 5-Star. That was a really good video. Let me link it again to you guys. I just got to make sure I grab the proper link, because at the end screen with all of the recommended, that's the video there. So show some love if you haven't yet, guys.